This is Life Lessons from the Crazy Dutch Farmer, the Cultivator, lesson number 2. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Al Person. You can contact me at pastor@mascot.church or in the comments below if they're switched on when the video is published. As I said in my first session, my dad taught me how to think, how to troubleshoot, how to understand things. The Crazy Dutch Farmer, however, taught me how to apply many of those things to my life. And last week we talked about persistence. Today, another very important life lessons that was tied up with me being a little bit humiliated on the day. When I say the Crazy Dutch Farmer was crazy, it's good crazy. It's the kind of crazy you associate with someone who works hard, doesn't stop, nothing gets in his way, and he does things well and to a high standard. There are going to be some very humorous, funny, and quirky stories coming along in this series. Well, let's get into today's story, shall we? We need to have a look at what a cultivator is, if you're not familiar with that. This is an implement a lot like I was using on the day when this story took place. It is connected behind a tractor. You can adjust its depth to some extent. Otherwise, it's a very passive implement. It doesn't have any moving parts on it. It's used in the springtime typically to break up the ground that has been under the snow. So the ground packs under the snow, and then you use the cultivator. Then you can prepare the ground for seeding. So I need also to say that in terms of things you pull behind a tractor, pretty much any idiot can drive a cultivator. There's not really very much to it, especially someone who can drive a car and a motorcycle. Not much to driving a cultivator after that. But I had a lesson to learn. So just to set the stage, there was a roadway going to Harry's farm, and the fields were lengthwise off the roadway. So Harry asked me to cultivate a field, showed me how the machine worked. Cultivating against the left-hand side fence row was easy because you just drive up against the fence row and you look back, everything was fine. But then you had to do something different. You had to spin the tractor around and come back about 4 or 5 cultivator widths and then come down in a straight line, and then you'd loop up to one row beside the fence row, and you'd keep kind of doing that. Then you'd kind of move over and do it again. It's very efficient, works really nicely. However, the straight line is the problem. So when it came my turn to do that, I drove the tractor up, I raised the cultivator, just it comes out of the soil, then you spin around and start driving down on the other side. Now the field is several hundred meters long, and so the row should be straight. Well, what did I do to be sure the row was straight? I looked behind me constantly to adjust the steering on the cultivator, on the tractor. Oops, little bit to the left, move to the right. Bit to the right, up, move back to the left. Were my rows straight? Oh, no. They were horrible, all over the place. In fact, terrible. I can still see some of them. Of course, the school bus would come home towards the end of the day, and there were school kids in there who knew how to do this. Like, I was already a mature teenager, in the 18, 19, whatever, and there were like 12-year-olds and 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds. I'm sure they were laughing at me, and they were probably laughing at Harry for hiring me. After a couple of school buses came by, I noticed something out of the corner of my eye and thought, oh no, here it comes. It was Harry. He was driving across the field in his pickup truck, his red F-150, and he wasn't driving slowly. He wasn't bringing me sandwiches. He hopped out of the truck, and his face was red, and it's like there was steam blowing out of his ears. He was furious, and he needed to be. And he comes up the tractor, and he said, sit over there. And he pops me on the side of the tractor, and he sits down in the tractor, and he's just steaming. He's not talking at a normal tone at all. Everything is a shout, right? And he said, watch this. And he gets the tractor back to the beginning of the row, and he spins it around where I should be starting from. And he said, you see that tree up there? I couldn't help but see the tree at the end of the row, I tell you, and I would have even said yes, even if I didn't see it, but it was obvious. On the nose of a tractor, there's a little nib right there on the top, right in the center, and it's over the center line of the tractor. And Harry overacted a bit, but it was useful. He got down on the tractor through the steering wheel, and he lined that center up to the tree. And he said, watch this. And he started driving with the implement in the ground. He wouldn't let me look back. wouldn't let me look back. And he drove all the way up to the hill, pulled the cultivator, and the line he left was perfectly straight. I looked back and thought, wow, that line is straight. There's a really big lesson in that, ladies and gentlemen, a really big lesson. You can't fix your life by always looking back. If you really think about it, there's nothing you can change by looking back. By driving towards a goal and a plan and a carefully thought out vision in your life, you're going to waste a lot less time. You're not going to go all over the place. What does it say in the book of Proverbs? Look not to the left or to the right. Proverbs 4. Maybe you want to look that up. I should have got it ready for today. This whole problem of not having somewhere to go results in aimlessness. Right? I don't have anything I'm aiming at. Harry aimed straight at the tree and he looked back. I can tell you that from then on, no school bus full of children would ever laugh at me again, at least not for that particular task. Because just one simple lesson had to be learned. Do you see a goal? Do you see a place that you're going? Hold on to it, nose up against it, and patiently move towards it. There you go. That's a simple life lesson. What are you doing with your goals? What are you doing with your life today? Coming up after that, next week, there's going to be some more of these, and some of them are a bit embarrassing. Mostly I'm the one who's embarrassed, and some are probably a little bit, a little bit deeper, and one or two are just beautiful. This has been Life Lessons from the Crazy Dutch Farmer, Session 2. The topic has been The Cultivator. If you like this one, like, share, and subscribe. And I will talk to you soon. God bless you. My name is Al Person. We will speak soon.